Curious, if you fly over the Mojave Desert, about 100 miles northeast of Los Angeles, you'll suddenly find yourself looking down at an enormous, perfectly organized geometric pattern carved straight into the dirt. This grid models the ambition, roads and water lines engineered for 500,000 people, but they never arrived. Today, only 15,000 residents live in a tiny corner. For every person here, 27 empty lots wait for someone who never showed up. It leaves behind a sprawling, modern ghost grid. A question remains. Who poured millions of dollars into carving a massive subdivision into the middle of nowhere, and why did they expect it to work? California City stands as the physical residue of a failed utopian scheme. 80,000 acres of infrastructure left to bake in the Mojave sun. To find the origin of this empty grid, we have to look at Los Angeles in 1955. The post-war economy was surging, and developers were buying up land at a furious pace, paving over orange groves to build sprawling suburban tracts almost overnight. In this environment, an economist named Nat Mendelson saw an opportunity. He was a striking, theatrical figure who often walked the streets in fine suits and white gloves, carrying a gold-tipped cane. Mendelson operated on a single theory. The relentless population boom in Southern California would eventually max out the coast, spill over the mountains, and flood straight into the surrounding desert. This map shows the scale of his bet. By 1958, Mendelson acquired 82,000 acres of flat desert land near the town of Mojave. To put that acreage into perspective, the entire city of San Francisco fits inside Mendelson's property lines with room to spare. Mendelson had already successfully built a smaller town from an abandoned army base, and that early win gave him a dangerous level of confidence. He looked at cheap desert dust and assumed its growth was a mathematical certainty. Construction crews went to work tearing up the brush. They poured concrete, trenched miles of water lines, and erected street signs bearing space-age names like Planet Lane and Alpha Street. Despite the marketing, the physical environment was hostile. Water was scarce, and summer temperatures regularly exceed 110 degrees. Even worse, the master plan ignored a basic law of urban development. A city needs an economic reason to exist. There was no pre-existing anchor industry to provide jobs, and nothing to draw a working-class population out of Los Angeles. When lot sales stalled, the development team got desperate. They began courting major companies to relocate to the desert, offering factory sites for exactly $1 an acre. Nobody took the offer. Hundreds of miles of asphalt couldn't overcome the economic reality. Infrastructure alone doesn't build a city if the environment cannot sustain its people. By the early 1970s, a discrepancy appeared in the city's records. Roughly 59,000 individual desert lots were actively traded, but the actual population was fewer than 2,000 people. The numbers suggested a market completely detached from reality. In 1971, the reformer Ralph Nader and a team of advocates published a report labeling the enterprise a mirage. They argued the public was sinking their savings in lots that had no hope of supporting a community. Those findings prompted the Federal Trade Commission to launch an investigation. They eventually filed a lawsuit against the developer for false, misleading, and deceptive advertising. The company settled in 1977 and was ordered to pay a $4 million refund, at the time the largest in FTC history. However, Mendelson had already moved on, having sold his stake in the project back in 1969. What began as a grand vision of urban planning had officially transitioned into a predatory operation penalized by the federal government. Today, California City survives on a modest scale. The 15,000 residents who live there are supported by local anchors, a nearby correctional facility, the Edwards Air Force Base, and a massive open-pit mine. Beyond the inhabited center, the empty grid has taken on a surreal life of its own. During the Gulf War, military trainee pilots from the nearby airbase began using the abandoned cul-de-sacs for simulated low-stakes jet missions. Those geometric patterns serve another purpose today. Recreational skydivers use the empty street intersections as giant, high-visibility landing zones to practice their precision steering. A master plan once intended for universities and shopping malls has instead become a training ground for military drills and extreme sports. Beyond the inhabited area, the grid remains a 500-mile pattern of roads leading nowhere, a physical record of what happens when a developer mistakes his own confidence for a city's destiny.